Hey guys, it's Laura. Today we are going through a basic stretch sequence. So I like to do this stretch sequence after any of my workouts. So whether I've been for a run, whether I've done a core-based workout, a strength circuit, or just a body weight workout, I'd like to go through it at the end of each one. So it's a really simple stretch sequence that you can go through. It's best done from warm, so if you're feeling a little bit tender the next day or even 2 days after, I'd recommend doing it after you've been for a walk or at least a warm shower. So we generally start from our hands, from our shoulders, so we take our arms across the front of us. So every time you stretch, you're looking to offer resistance the opposite way. So as I pull this arm across me, I'm actively trying to pull that left shoulder back behind me, so for my shoulder blades pulling together. And that's what helps intensify the stretch. So we come across the front one side, holding each stretch for approximately 15 to 20 seconds. The longer the better, really. Ideally we'd hold them up for a minute, for up to a minute, but if time doesn't prevail, that's fine. It's best to have given them some time than to have not at all. Opposite side. Now, as we come through these stretches, we'll talk about what the purpose of them are. So at the start of our workouts, we usually start with dynamic stretches that help get our joints moving and get them going. This is what we call static stretching. And take it overhead, so we're going to hold our elbow, and we're going to work that arm down behind us, stretching out our backs of our arms. So these stretches are what we'd call static stretches. Now, static stretches help to return the muscle to their lengthened state after a workout, because when we work out, the muscle gets worked quite hard and can end up in quite a contracted state. Now, by doing your static stretches, what you're helping to do is lengthen them back out and help reduce the soreness the next day. Come through our neck. Always remembering to be really gentle for your neck. So we come to side, keeping your shoulders away from your ears, creating space, and then gently down in front. Moving on to our side stretches now. So we take our right leg in front of our left and raise our right arm up and reach right over. So reaching out that side, stretching out that side for us there. And back over to the other side. And the next one we're doing is going to come through and twist out our torso. So this is a dynamic stretch, which means that we're moving as we do it. So it's the same one as we do when we warm up. Bend your knees slightly for me so that you don't have lateral motion, and gently start to twist your torso. This is going to help realign the spine after having done our workout. So just gently to start off with, and then twist right into it, looking over behind you. And still working down our body, we're going to go to our quads now. So stand on one leg. You can do this one from your laying down position too, if that suits you better. Find a point to focus at. Pull your foot up beside you, and turn side on you. Pull your foot up towards your glutes, and try and keep your shoulder, your hip, and your knee in alignment so they stay nice and straight. If you can't feel that enough, you can pull that foot to the side of the body a little bit and still pull through, but still make sure that those hips and knees stay in alignment. And swap sides. So remember, each of these you're going to hold for anywhere between 15 to 30 seconds. And if you're just doing a stretch sequence on its own, you can hold them for up to a minute. It really just depends what sort of time you have. And moving on now, coming to our wide stance. So our feet are wide, our feet are in a wide placement, and our toes are slightly turned out. You're going to sink over onto that right leg and draw your left hip flexor towards your right ankle. So nice and wide, bend that right knee and push that leg down towards that opposite ankle. And come back up the other side and drop into the other one. Taking our calf stretch now, so simply take one foot out in front of you, flex the foot up. You can bend that opposite leg a little bit and start to reach down towards that foot. It doesn't matter whether you're quite high or whether you're lower and lower, if you can actually reach that foot. And if you want to intensify it a little bit more, you can draw those toes back towards you. stand up and do the opposite side. So foot flexed, and gently reach down towards that foot. The last one that we do from our standing position is for our hamstrings. Now we do it last because we're bending over and you're looking to avoid that possible lightheadedness or dizziness that you can feel after when you bend over after a workout. So come to your feet are hip width apart, your knees are slightly bent, and you're going to draw your chest towards your thighs as the first motion, so bend over. And then once in this position, you can stay quite high if that suits you. Your knees can be as bent as you need them to be, but you want to start to draw your tailbone up towards the sky. Now it doesn't matter if your legs straighten out or not, you just want to feel that drawing motion of pulling your tailbone up. This should have quite an intense stretch down the backs of your legs and possibly down even through your calf muscles. If not, tuck your chin to your chest and use your hands to draw you down a little further. And standing up carefully so as to avoid any head spins. The last couple of our stretches that we're going to take are down on the ground, so come down carefully with me and lay flat on your back. These stretches are designed predominantly for your lower back and even through your glutes a little bit. So the first one that we're going to do, draw your knees to your chest. Now if you can't quite draw your knees to your chest, that's fine. You can use a towel or a strap to help them. And when you draw them up, you do just want to think about lifting them and then lifting your tailbone off the ground slightly. So pull your knees towards your chest gently, and we're going to release that right leg out straight. So your left knee stays where it is. Pull it firmly towards your chest, and then we're going to roll it over to the ground on the opposite side, so over towards our right leg. Just rolling it over. You're trying to keep your shoulders on the ground, so you're really working to keep your chest flat as you twist from your torso. And back to the center, swap sides, so right knee to your chest, draw it in nice and firmly. Take your left hand to pull it over to the other side. Still trying to keep that shoulder on the ground and have the twist come from your torso. It should feel quite nice on your lower back, and with any of these stretches, if you do feel any pain or discomfort, come into a lighter stretch or leave the stretch out completely, okay? And back to the center. The next one that we're going to do is our all fours stretch, and this is a really good one for your lower back. So you're going to bring your knees up to the right ankle position and take your right ankle to your left knee, so just below you, above your knee where it meets your thigh. You're going to place the side of your ankle there, let that knee fold out, and take your arms around that leg as you draw it towards your chest. Again, lifting that tailbone slightly off the ground will help intensify the stretch a little bit. Breathe through your stretches and release into them as much as you can. And gently lower that leg back down to the ground and swap sides. So this time your left ankle comes to your right knee. You can use your hands to draw that right leg up. Pull the tailbone off the ground. There we go. Now these stretches are really good for either the outsides of your legs, down the backs of your legs, and through your lower back. Realigning your spine after a workout is a really important part of stretching, so you do want to make sure that you do everything you can to minimise any soreness that you might have the next day or in the week afterwards. And gently release to the ground. Come sitting with me. That, guys, is our static stretch routine. I do it after all of my workouts, whether I've been running, whether I've done a high intensity, high impact workout, a circuit, a body weight circuit, strength exercise, any of them. I follow up with that static stretch down. So a dynamic warm-up gets us moving, our static stretch down gets us cooled down. If you are feeling quite sore in the days after your workouts, what I would recommend doing is take a light walk and get warmed up again. That in itself will help release your muscles. but then following that up with this stretch sequence will really help you recover from the delayed onset of muscle soreness. So it may feel a little bit tender and painful while you're actually doing it, but you should wake up feeling quite good the next day. Alright guys, thanks.